seems to have an anti-addictive quality that may be used for a number of different disorders. Alcohol use disorder is the first one up, but we also are noticing anecdotally that it may have use beyond alcohol use disorder. Certainly, if I think about addictions generally, they tend to lump into two categories. There's things you consume, and then there's things you do. In the things that you consume, it's everything from alcohol to food to heroin to cocaine. In the things that you do, people can have addictive relationships with many behaviors, from sex to gambling to shopping. So it's my hunch, and again, more research is needed, but it's my hunch that MEI will be more useful for things that you consume, because it is something that you consume. You consume MEI, and for reasons I'm about to explain, it gives you this abrupt end to the consumption process. Does that apply to, if you're standing at a gambling machine? We don't know. That research hasn't been done, and we have no anecdotal evidence. But the consumption piece is fairly clear to us, and we're excited enough by it that we've actually started this company, and we're moving it into the market. So let me describe the experience of MEI. And I'm going to describe it sort of sequentially. So if you take it in small amounts over a period of time, but we're really hoping that it would just be available in a pill. And so what I'm about to describe to you, you'd get as you consume the pill. But the first experience, the first dose of MEI, it feels like one beer. Now, for me, one beer is a very mild, positive experience where I slightly relax and feel more engaged socially. The second dose of MEI feels like 2 beers. Now, that's the most I ever drink. That's my max. So for me, 2 beers is, really connected to the other people around me, relaxed, disinhibited, friendly. It's a positive experience. The third dose feels like 30 milligrams of MDMA. So for those who don't know what that means, it's a very low dose of MDMA. So at that point, it feels very safe and sort of pink and fuzzy and warm and connected, and it's not a wonderful experience. It's a mild experience. It's a mildly positive experience that's a little bit better than alcohol. The fourth dose has a really abrupt transition that is actually quite bizarre. And the best way to describe it that I've ever come up with is just imagine that you've just finished eating 2 pieces of really goopy cheesecake, and somebody puts a third piece of cheesecake in front of you and hands you a fork. You just look at the cheesecake, you push it away, trembling, because you can't imagine touching the cheesecake. You are so absolutely done with cheesecake. But imagine yourself in that place. Just think of the cheesecake in front of you and think about what your experience is. Why can't you touch the cheesecake? And it's not because you're so stimulated you're hanging off the ceiling. It's not because you're so sedated you're lying on the floor. It's not because you're so violently ill you're kneeling in front of the toilet. You can't touch the cheesecake because you're just simply satiated. It produces this complete satiation response where you're just simply finished. So anecdotally, what we notice is if you want to drink 26 ounces of vodka, that's your thing, and you do it regularly. And so you sit down with your bottle of vodka and you start drinking and you add MEI to the experience. You simply stop drinking because you achieve satiation. Now, having worked in the addiction services, I have had so many people tell me, one drink is too many and 50 drinks is too few, because it's common that when you're an alcoholic, when you have alcohol use disorder and you start drinking, you completely lose control and you drink and you drink and you drink and you drink until you just can't drink anymore because you're unconscious. And so when you're an alcoholic, the satiation experience comes after a huge number of drinks. So here's a way of introducing the satiation experience early in the drinking experience. In fact, you could titrate the MEI so you could drink as much as you want or as little as you want. If you want to have the satiation experience at 2 drinks, you can take as much MEI, so 2 drinks is all you can drink, and then you become completely satiated and you can't drink anymore because you kind of hit the wall. So this new molecule, MEI, really offers something completely different in terms of alcohol use disorder treatment. So having worked in the field, what I'm aware of is let's go through the checklist. If somebody walks into a clinic that I used to run and said, I'm an alcoholic, what do we offer them? Well, we say, have you been to an AA meeting? And, we didn't run the AA meetings, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, but they're all over the world. And often people would say, yes, I have been to AA and I don't like it because that's why I'm coming to use. But AA works for many people, but it certainly doesn't work for everybody. And it's a hardcore abstinence-based program. And, I'm glad they're there, but for some people, it just doesn't work. There's counseling programs, and I ran a counseling program. And I had fabulous staff. They were incredibly engaging. I just completely appreciated and respected the quality of the staff that I had. And they did their best, highly experienced job. And for many people with alcoholism, it just wasn't enough. Essentially, counseling offers you ability to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, think about trauma, for example. And many people don't want to do that. That really isn't where they're at with this process. You could also go in and see our physician, and then you get offered things like a composite or naltrexone, which do numb the pleasure of alcohol and can be helpful for some people, but it's a very small number of people that actually find it useful. And then there's disulfiram or antabuse that makes you violently ill if you connect it with alcohol. I'd never met anybody who wanted to do that a second time. It was so horrible the first time. So really, MEI is a completely unique molecule. The experience of it, of satiation, it is unparalleled with anything that's being offered today in terms of addictions treatment. And that's really why Clearmind was formed.